The map slipped from my grasp. It danced on the wind, a fleeting mockery of my plans. Gone, swallowed by the overgrown trail and the encroaching dusk. Panic welled, cold and sharp. I was lost. Hours I had wandered, each step taking me further from familiarity. The forest had grown quiet, the usual symphony of birdsong replaced by an unsettling silence. My heart pounded against my ribs, a frantic drumbeat against the growing darkness. Then through the trees I saw it, a light. Not the dying embers of sunset, but a steady, unnatural glow. Hope surged, tinged with an unease I couldn't place. I pushed forward, desperate for any sign of civilization. The path opened into a clearing, revealing a village shrouded in mist. It clung to the slopes of the mountain, an ethereal apparition in the fading light. Atop the highest peak, the source of the glow pulsed like a beacon, a lighthouse, miles from any sea. A shiver ran down my spine as I entered the village. The silence was unnerving, broken only by the crunch of gravel beneath my boots. The houses were dark, windows like vacant eyes staring out at me. Not a soul stirred. It was as if the village itself were holding its breath. The mist clung to everything, thick and cloying. It snaked through the narrow lanes, tendrils reaching out like ghostly fingers. The air was heavy with the scent of damp earth and something else, something ancient and faintly metallic. It sent a prickle of unease across my skin. I pressed on, drawn towards the lighthouse. Each step felt heavy, as if I were wading through water. The light grew brighter, casting long, distorted shadows that danced around me. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. The path steepened, winding its way up the mountainside. The village fell away below, swallowed by the mist. Above, the lighthouse beckoned, its light a hypnotic pulse in the gathering darkness. I was almost there. The lighthouse stood alone on the peak, a stark silhouette against the swirling clouds. It was taller than any lighthouse had a right to be, its whitewashed stone almost glowing in the strange light. The lantern room at the top pulsed with a golden light, casting an eerie glow across the mountaintop. As I drew closer, I noticed the lack of a door, just a gaping maw in the stone leading into darkness. Hesitation tugged at me. What was I doing? This place reeked of wrongness, of secrets best left undisturbed. But the light drew me in, a siren call in the silence. I took a deep breath and stepped across the threshold. The air inside was cold, heavy with the scent of dust and decay. The only sound was the steady thump-thump of my own heart. A spiral staircase climbed into the darkness, the stone steps worn smooth with age. I started up, each step echoing in the silence. The light from above grew stronger, painting the walls with shifting patterns of gold. My apprehension was replaced by a strange sense of anticipation. He was waiting for me at the top, a stooped figure silhouetted against the blinding light of the lantern. His face was hidden in the shadows, but I could see a shock of white hair and a long, flowing beard. He looked ancient, as old as the mountain itself. "So, you found me," he rasped, his voice like dry leaves rustling in the wind. He turned, and I flinched at the intensity of his gaze. His eyes were like chips of blue ice, cold and piercing. They seemed to see right through me, into the depths of my soul. He gestured towards the massive lantern that dominated the room. It was a thing of brass and glass, intricately crafted and impossibly old. The flame inside burned with an unnatural intensity, casting dancing shadows across the walls. "This lantern," he said, his voice barely a whisper, "it must never go out. The shadows, they hunger. They wait for their chance to consume the light." His words hung in the air, heavy with unspoken meaning. A shiver ran down my spine.